We start with a deadly weekend in Rockford.
A man is killed overnight in Rockford.
And a murder investigation is underway.
We hear it often.
Was shot here.
He was shot multiple times,
where he later died from his injuries.
We report it often.
No suspects have been named at this time.
In fact, in 2020, we've had 27 of these. 27 murders.
Police are still looking for suspects.
18 of them unsolved. To put that into perspective, flip a coin. You have a better chance of getting away with murder this year in Rockford than you do predicting heads or tails. Right now, just 1 in 3 are solved. Why?
Watch my son take his last breath. It's gonna always be in my head.
Ask Pamela Whiteside why.
But I know the public, family, social, so-called friends know what happened. I wish they come forward.
Her son Jarvis Wilder shot and killed in 2018. 2 years later, still no charges. 3 people were in the car when Wilder was shot right here. They dropped him off at Swedish American and ran.
She said the last word my son said on the way to the hospital, she said, "We getting close, hold on, we getting close." And she said, Mom, he said,
Ask Rockford Police Chief Dan O'Shea why.
How many of them would you say are not solved because people aren't coming forward? I would venture to guess all of them, but I don't know off the top of my head. But the vast majority of them are strictly because people aren't coming forward.
But Chief O'Shea does know why people don't come forward, especially this year.
Their only mentality is, you shot at us, we're shooting at you. You killed him, we're going to kill one of you.
Is this a gang war at this point?
It is a war between 2 factions that just can't get along.
That war, along with the pandemic and lack of trust in police, is why the solve rate is so low this year, according to O'Shea.
But I was real proud and very happy for Rockford. 2017, 18, and 19, we continued. I can't tell you how many public outreach programs, you've seen what we've done. And then 2020, we haven't been able to do any of them.
This year, the murder solve rate, or number of murders where someone is charged, just 1 in 3. Since 2010, 231 people have been murdered in the city of Rockford. To this day, 91 of them remain unsolved. Break that down year by year in the last decade, and 2020 has both the highest number of murders and by far the most unsolved.
We have an overwhelming number of individuals that absolutely, unequivocally refuse to provide any information to the police.
Without cooperation, charging someone with murder becomes increasingly difficult.
This isn't CSI. We can't put up big digital walls and move things around like Tony Stark. That's not reality. We can't solve murders in an hour.
If someone does come forward, they can be protected to a point.
It can be very intimidating. They could be ostracized. They could be targeted by other individuals who don't want them to come forward.
State's Attorney Marilyn Hyde-Ross says Winnebago County does not have a designated witness protection program for people who report crimes, but they do what they can to protect them and relocate them, though her office says it does not keep track of the number of people it has relocated or helped.
So obviously, you can't force anyone to cooperate.
Another reason why.
Because you can't force someone to give you the information that they have.
But Hyde-Ross does believe the job is getting done, even though the numbers this year are so low.
I think that we are successful in doing our job and getting justice for murder victims.
Yet people like Pamela Whiteside haven't seen justice for years and wonder if they ever will.
My son, he wasn't the perfect one here in the world, but he still was mine, and his life didn't have to lose like that.
We decided to take the murder solve rate numbers a step further. Remember, a murder is solved when charges are associated with that case. Right now in Rockford, that's 1 in 3. Let's dig a little deeper and compare Rockford to like-sized cities in the state of Illinois. Joliet, Springfield, Peoria, and Aurora all had fewer than half the number of murders that we've seen in Rockford so far in 2020. Only one of them, the same solve rate, Aurora, though it had many fewer murders than what we've seen right here in Rockford. We also looked at how murder is convicted in court in our area. We requested numbers as far back as the court would give them to us. Here's what we found. Since 2012, 148 people have been charged with murder and had a verdict in their trial in the 17th Circuit. That encompasses Winnebago and Boone counties. Only half of them were found guilty of that murder charge, 74. 44 of them had the murder charge dismissed. 26 were found not guilty of that murder charge. We interviewed State's Attorney Marilyn Hyde-Ross again after we compiled these numbers. She wouldn't comment specifically on the statistics, but did say the process works.
The criminal process is just that. It's a process. So when a person is charged with a crime, whether it's a petty offense, a misdemeanor offense, or a felony, it's the state's burden to prove that person guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Whether or not that is achieved is part of the process. So I'm not one to criticize the verdict because that is the criminal process.
Well, do you have something you want us to investigate? Give us a call. Let us help you. Call that number on your screen, 815-335-7890, to speak to the 13 Investigates team.